I'm Nick, and we are the Belfast Respiratory Team. We are now in the greatest medical crisis of our lifetime. Stay at home.
I'm Angela, one of the respiratory consultants. This is the crucial time. This is not a rehearsal. You will only have one chance at this. Stay at home.
I'm Claire. I'm a respiratory nurse. You can play your part to enable us to play ours. Please stay at home.
I'm Julian, a respiratory consultant. We all have a choice. If you choose to stay at home, you will save lives. Please, stay at home.
I'm Susie. I'm a respiratory consultant and I've been a doctor for 35 years. We are facing our greatest challenge and we're frightened. Help us. Please stay at home.
I'm Siobhan. I'm a respiratory physiotherapist. I know where my kids are. Where are your kids? Keep them at home. Stay at home.
I'm Roshing, a respiratory nurse. Doctors and nurses have died. We need to stay healthy so we can help you. You can help save our lives. Stay at home.
I'm Anne-Marie, respiratory nurse consultant. Thousands of people could die here. Help us reduce that number. Play your part. Save a life. Stay at home.
My name is Thelma. I am a respiratory consultant. You've heard my colleagues. This is a crisis. Please stay at home, we beg you.
Let us be our brother's keeper, let us be our sister's keeper, and I am sure that if we do this, we shall overcome this particular pandemic.
Nimeosha mikono yako, ikiwezekana fanyia kazi kwako, hata Mungu muabudie kwako, yuko kila pahali, hata kusikia.
Umbea wale imeshafika kwao, kwa huruma zake Mungu ashinde kifo, nawe jizuie, usikushike, ni kwa muda tu, tutashinda. Hatuwezi kusana, roho moja kidogo yule hana, adui ni moja, tutamshinda tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda adui korona, tutakushinda.
Sisi wanadamu wavumilivu, tukiwa pamoja tuna nguvu. Tumuombe Mola aturehemu, haya yatapita tu.
Hatuwezi kusana pamoja, hata kama hatuwezi patana, tushirikiane. Kawia kidogo yule hana, adui ni moja, tutamshinda tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda adui korona, tutakushinda.
Adui korona, tutakushinda.
Adui korona, oh yeah.
Kemolo kabisa. Maana hatutakubali mtu mmoja uwe watu wote. Hatuwezi kubali hiyo. Umeelewana? Hii kurundikana hii pia itakikani. Unapata instruction. So hata hizo vitu tunataka kuongea. Uko na store. Uko na store. Hizi ndio kwa store. Vitu zote zimekuta ikuja hapa anapata hall. Anaona kama ya kuongea katika ni hapa. Si ndio? Yes. Hakuna mahali pa kukaa.
Sasa to disinfect hapa. Mbona inakaa kama ya kinyuzi bwana wageni huko? Yes. Kagua pia. George. Kwa daktari.
Wakati huo mwenye bomu atakuwa amepita. Atakuwa anaangalia tu bila wote msembeni ataingia tu.
Mwache kazi wote ya okay. Ninyi mfanye ile mmeandikwa
Hii watu wengine wapatiwa hii.
Sawa.
But the most important thing is enforcement. Lazima kuwe na mtu ambaye anasema we to take a bit of time watu kuelewa hivi. Kuna ule hapo na ngoja nikao hakuna
Fellow Kenyans, I feel obligated to address you on the threat of coronavirus, or COVID-19 as it is universally known. Corona is real and it is a threat to humanity. It has already claimed 16,000 lives worldwide. So what do we do right now to protect ourselves against corona? Number one, wash your hands with water and soap or use sanitizers. Number two, stay away from funerals except those of your immediate members of the family. Number three, stay away from crowds. Number four, stop shaking hands. Number five, keep social distance. Number six, obey the directives issued by the government from time to time. And finally, number seven, be safe. Stay at home. Thank you.
Let us be our brother's keeper. Let us be our sister's keeper. And I am sure that if we do this, we shall overcome this particular pandemic.
Nimeosha mikono osha yako, ikiwezekana fanyia kazi kwako, hata Mungu muabudie kwako, yuko kila pahali, hata kusikia.
Umbea wale imeshafika kwao, kwa huruma zake Mungu ashinde kifo. tufuate amri za serikali, tujiepushe na umati wa watu, tuweke kati yetu nafasi, tusisambaze virusi, ikiwezekana hata tusisafiri, tusiwaweke wengine kwa hatari, tujizuie, tusiambukizwe. Oh, ni kwa muda tu, tutashinda. Hata kama hatuwezi kusana, roho moja. Hata kama hatuwezi patana, shirikiane, gawia kidogo yule hana. Adui ni moja, tutamshinda. Tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda.
Sisi wanadamu wavumilivu, tukiwa pamoja tuna nguvu. Tumuombe Mola aturehemu, haya yatapita tu.
Hatuwezi kusana, hata kama hatuwezi patana, tushirikiane, gawia kidogo yule hana. Adui ni moja, tutamshinda. Tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda.
Adui korona, tutakushinda.
Adui korona, oh yeah.
Coronavirus is a large family of viruses called coronaviruses, and these have been there for long, and they cause diseases in both human beings and animals. In human beings, several coronaviruses cause several illnesses, with some mild like common colds and other severe illnesses. The most recently discovered coronavirus is the one we are calling COVID-19, and it is now responsible for now what we are calling coronavirus disease. The symptoms generally are fever, tiredness, and dry cough, and these are usually mild. But some patients may develop aches, pains, nasal congestion, runny nose, sore throat, and some diarrhea. In 80% of clients, they usually have mild disease, and this might resolve on its own even without serious medical intervention. But 1 out of 6 patients might develop serious illness, which may cause difficulty in breathing, which now calls for medical intervention. Generally, this problem is more severe in older people or people who have chronic illnesses like hypertension, diabetes, heart problems. And from the statistics we have, is about 2% of the people right now who have been affected by this coronavirus disease have died. So you can see from the statistics is that it's only a small percentage. It's not as virulent as a disease like Ebola. The virus spreads from person to person, and it is mainly if a person near you is sneezing on objects and then you hold the object and then you touch your eyes or your nose or your mouth. It also can be spread if you inhale droplets which have been which a person who is already sick has exhaled or has sneezed into the environment. And the incubation period in this matter is the period between when you get the infection and when we start seeing clear signs and symptoms. Generally, the incubation period as of now is known to be between 1 and 14 days. I should also make it clear that people should have good respiratory hygiene. So for example, if you are coughing or sneezing in public, you should sneeze into your folded arm like this, or sneeze into a serviette or a handkerchief so that you don't spread the same. And generally, if you have fever, difficulties in breathing, you should seek medical advice. So should everyone have a mask? No. Masks generally are recommended for clients or patients who already have the problem, or medical personnel who are handling this kind of patients, or a person who is assisting at home a patient who already have signs and symptoms. The county government of Nakuru is educating the public on coronavirus so that they know what is it. And 2, we are giving the public information on how to prevent themselves from getting this disease in case it ever comes around. And then we've put in together a surveillance team and a response team in case we have any reports of any presence of such an incident anywhere. And we have also procured PPEs, personal protection equipment, and they are ready for use by our health personnel in case we get a client. We have also trained about 200 health personnel, that is at the Provincial General Hospital in Nakuru, at Naivasha, and Gilgil Hospital. So we have a complement of 200 personnel of all cadres. And finally, we have identified an isolated treatment facility in case there is need for such.
Let us be our brother's keeper, let us be our sister's keeper, and I am sure that if we do this, we shall overcome this particular pandemic.
Nimeosha mikono osha yako, ikiwezekana fanyia kazi kwako, hata Mungu muabudie kwako, yuko kila pahali, hata kusikia.
Umbea wale imeshafika kwao, kwa huruma zake Mungu ashinde kifo, nawe jizuie, usikushike, ni kwa muda tu, tutashinda.
Hatuwezi kusana roho moja, hata kama hatuwezi patana, tushirikiane, tuwiane roho yule hana, adui ni moja, tutamshinda, tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda, adui korona, tutakushinda.
Tufuate amri za serikali, tujiepushe na umati wa watu, tuweke kati yetu nafasi, tusisambaze virusi, ikiwezekana hata tusisafiri, tusiwaweke wengine kwa hatari, tujizuie, tusiambukizwe. Oh, ni kwa muda tu, tutashinda.
Hata kama hatuwezi kusana roho moja, hata kama hatuwezi patana, tushirikiane,
I'm Nick, and we are the Belfast Respiratory Team. We are now in the greatest medical crisis of our lifetime. Stay at home.
I'm Angela, one of the respiratory consultants. This is the crucial time. This is not a rehearsal. You will only have one chance at this. Stay at home.
I'm Claire. I'm a respiratory nurse. You can play your part to enable us to play ours. Please stay at home.
I'm Julian, a respiratory consultant. We all have a choice. If you choose to stay at home, you will save lives. Please, stay at home.
I'm Susie. I'm a respiratory consultant and I've been a doctor for 35 years. We are facing our greatest challenge and we're frightened. Help us. Please stay at home.
I'm Siobhan. I'm a respiratory physiotherapist. I know where my kids are. Where are your kids? Keep them at home. Stay at home.
I'm Roshing, a respiratory nurse. Doctors and nurses have died. We need to stay healthy so we can help you. You can help save our lives. Stay at home.
I'm Anne-Marie, respiratory nurse consultant. Thousands of people could die here. Help us reduce that number. Play your part. Save a life. Stay at home.
My name is Thelma. I am a respiratory consultant. You've heard my colleagues. This is a crisis. Please stay at home, we beg you.
Kemolo kabisa. Maana hatutakubali mtu mmoja huo watu wote. Hatuwezi kubali hiyo. Umeelewana? Hii kurundikana hii pia itakikani. Unapata instructions. So hata hizo vitu tunataka kuongelea. Uko na store. Uko na store. Hivi ndio kwa store. Vitu zote kwa store. Vitu zote tunakuta ikuja hapa anapata hall. Anaona tu mahali ya kuongea tatizo ni hapa. Ndio. Yes. Hakuna mahali pa kukaa. How are you? What is sanitizer?
Yes, so to disinfect.
George. Kwa daktari. Wakati huo mwenye bomu atakuwa amepita. Anaangalia tu vile anaota msandeni ataingia tu. Mwache kazi wote ya focus. Zenye mfanye ile mumeandikwa hii watu wengine wapatiwe hii. Sawa. But the most important thing is enforcement. Lazima kuwe na mtu ambaye anasema wait to take a bit of time watu kuelewa hivi.
Kuna ule hapo na kwa chakula yako. Hapo na
Let us be our brother's keeper. Let us be our sister's keeper. And I am sure that if we do this, we shall overcome this particular pandemic.
Nimeosha mikono, osha yako. Ikiwezekana fanyia kazi kwako. Hata Mungu muabudie kwako. Yuko kila pahali, hata kusikia. Umbea wale imeshafika kwao. Kwa huruma zake Mungu ashinde kifo. Nawe jizuie, usikushike. Ni kwa serikali. Tujiepushe na umati wa watu, tuweke kati yetu nafasi, tusisambaze virusi, ikiwezekana hata tusisafiri, tusiwaweke wengine kwa hatari, tujizuie, tusiambukizwe. Oh, ni kwa muda tu, tutashinda. Hata kama hatuwezi kusana, roho moja. Hata kama hatuwezi patana, tushirikiane, gawia kidogo yule hana. Adui ni moja, tutamshinda. Tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda. Sisi wanadamu wavumilivu, tukiwa pamoja tuna nguvu. Tumuombe Mola aturehemu, haya yatapita tu. Tuko pamoja, hata kama hatuwezi kusana, roho moja. Hata kama hatuwezi patana, tushirikiane, gawia kidogo yule hana. Adui ni moja, tutamshinda. Tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda. Oh yeah.
Let us be our brother's keeper, let us be our sister's keeper, and I am sure that if we do this, we shall overcome this particular pandemic.
Nimeosha mikono, osha yako. Ikiwezekana fanyia kazi kwako. Hata Mungu muabudie kwako. Yuko kila pahali, atakusikia.
Ombea wale imeshafika kwao, kwa huruma zake Mungu ashinde kifo. Nawe jizuie, isikushike, ni kwa muda tu, tutashinda. Tuko pamoja, hata kama hatuwezi kusana, roho moja. Hata kama hatuwezi patana, tushirikiane, gawia kidogo yule hana. Adui ni moja, tutamshinda. Tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda. Tufuate amri za serikali, tujiepushe na umati wa watu, yetu nafasi, tusisambaze virusi, ikiwezekana hata tusisafiri, tusiwaweke wengine kwa hatari, tujizuie, tusiambukizwe. Oh, ni kwa muda tu, tutashinda. Hata kama hatuwezi kusana, roho moja. Hata kama hatuwezi patana, shirikiane, gawia kidogo yule hana. Adui ni moja, tutamshinda. Tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda. Sisi wanadamu wavumilivu, tukiwa pamoja tuna nguvu. Tumuombe Mola aturehemu, haya yatapita tu. Tuko pamoja, hata kama hatuwezi kuwa pamoja, hata kama hatuwezi patana, tushiriki kidogo yule hana. Adui ni moja, tutamshinda. Tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda.
Let us be our brother's keeper, let us be our sister's keeper, and I am sure that if we do this, we shall overcome this particular pandemic.
Nimeonosha yako, ikiwezekana fanyia kazi kwako, hata Mungu muabudie kwako, yuko kila pahali, atakusikia.
Ombea wale imeshafika kwao, kwa huruma zake Mungu ashinde kifo, nawe jizuie, usikushike, ni kwa muda tu, tutashinda. Tuko pamoja, hata kama hatuwezi kusana, roho moja. Hata kama hatuwezi patana, tushirikiane, gawia kidogo yule hana. Adui ni moja, tutamshinda. Tukiwa pamoja, tutashinda. Adui korona, tutakushinda. Tufuate amri za serikali, tujiepushe na umati wa watu, tuweke kati yetu nafasi, tusisambaze tusisafiri, tusiwaweke wengine kwa hatari, tujizuie, tusiambukizwe. Oh, ni kwa muda tu tutashinda. Hata kama hatuwezi kusana, roho moja
Many more persons, both Kenyans and foreigners, remain under close monitoring, either under self-quarantine or compulsory quarantine measures, which have been taken to ensure the safety of all our people. I wish to assure you that as a government, both at national and county levels, we are implementing strict evaluation and monitoring protocols designed to proactively seek out and test persons who may be carriers of this virus. I wish to assure you all that we are continuously enhancing our testing and quarantine capacity on a day-to-day basis, supported by our development partners, international organizations. We are grateful to the many friends of Kenya across the globe, like Jack Ma, who yesterday donated testing kits and other equipment to support us in this battle. We are, and I believe we will remain, ahead of the curve in the ongoing war. Fellow Kenyans, in recognition of the extraordinary nature of this global tragedy, and it's enormous to guarantee the enjoyment of social, civil, and economic rights, my administration has made and will continue to make targeted state interventions to cushion every Kenyan from the shocks arising from this coronavirus. I do indeed recognize the anxiety that this pandemic has caused millions of Kenyan families across our nation. Many fearful of what the future may hold for them and their children, and the possibility of job losses and loss of income weighing heavily on the minds of millions of Kenyans. So in order to protect jobs for our people and to provide some certainty for both employers and their employees, I, as your President, do today order and direct as follows. First, that the National Treasury moves to Parliament to offer the following immediate reliefs: an increased disposable income to the people of Kenya through A 100% tax relief for persons earning a gross monthly income of up to Kenya shillings 24,000. A B, reduction of the income tax rate, or pay as you earn, from its current maximum of 30% to 25%. C, a reduction of resident income tax or corporation tax from 30% to 25%. A D, a reduction of the turnover tax rate from the current 3% to 1%
for all micro, small, and medium enterprises. E, the appropriation of an additional Kenya shillings 10 billion to the elderly, orphans, and other vulnerable members of our society through cash transfers by the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection to cushion them from the adverse economic effects of COVID-19. F, the temporary suspension of the listing with the Credit Referencing Bureau, or the CRB, of any person, micro, small or medium enterprise, as well as corporate entities whose loan account fall due or is in arrears, effective 1st of April 2020. Number 2, that the National Treasury shall cause the immediate reduction of the VAT rate from 16% to 14% effective the 1st of April 2020. 3, that all ministries and departments shall cause the payment of at least Kenya shillings 13 billion of the verified pending bills within 3 weeks from the date hereof. Similarly, and to improve liquidity in the economy and ensure businesses remain afloat by enhancing their cash flows. And we also, in the same breath, encourage the private sector to clear all outstanding payments amongst themselves within the same 3-week period. And 4, that the Kenya Revenue Authority shall expedite the payment of all verified VAT refund claims amounting to some Kenya shillings 10 billion within 3 weeks, or in the alternative, allow for the offsetting of withholding VAT in order to improve cash flows for businesses. And 5, as I said last week, that Kenya shillings 1 billion from the Universal Health Coverage Kitty be immediately appropriated strictly towards the recruitment of additional health workers to support in the management of the spread of COVID-19. In that regard, I further direct the Ministry of Health, the county governments, the Public Service Commission to expedite this recruitment process. Fellow Kenyans, in sharing the burden occasioned by the present global health pandemic over the duration of the global crisis and commencing immediately, my administration has offered a voluntary reduction in salaries of the senior ranks of the National Executive as follows. The President and Deputy President, 80%. Cabinet Secretaries, 30%. Chief Administrative Secretaries, 30%. Principal Secretaries, a reduction of 20%. I call on the other arms of government and tiers of government to join us in this national endeavor by making similar voluntary reductions, which will free up monies to combat this pandemic.
Further to the guidelines issued encouraging state agencies to establish and implement frameworks for staff to work from home, I also today hereby direct and order that all state and public officers with aged 50 years of age and above, serving in Job Group S and below, or their equivalents, to take leave or forthwith work from home. This order excludes personnel in the security sector and other essential services, as shall be outlined in the circular that has been issued to the public service on the 16th of March, 2020. Fellow Kenyans, the Central Bank of the Republic of Kenya has additionally rolled out the following measures. That is, the lowering of the central bank rate, the CBR, to 7.25% from the prevailing 8.25%, which should prompt commercial banks to lower the interest rate to their borrowers, availing the much needed and affordable credit to all our business men and women. They have also lowered the cash reserve ratio, the CRR, to 4.25% from the current 5.25%, and this move should provide additional liquidity to the tune of Kenya shillings 35 billion to commercial banks, and this should directly support borrowers that are distressed as a result of the economic effects of this virus. Furthermore, the Central Bank of Kenya shall provide flexibility to banks with regard to requirements for loan classification and provisioning for loans that were performing as at March 2nd, 2020, and whose repayment period was extended or restructured due to this pandemic. I have also reorganized the ordinary calendar of Cabinet and its committees, as well as key state agencies, so as to apply a whole-of-government approach to the COVID-19 pandemic and to foster enhanced responses to the same. So the weekly meeting that is chaired by Minister Matiang'i will now be meeting twice weekly and focusing itself primarily on the impact of this virus. We have further introduced close coordination and collaboration with the county governments, in addition to the establishment of sectoral working groups to more effectively and expeditiously implement various action points. Fellow Kenyans, I'm sure you will join me as we together on behalf of a grateful nation extend our heartfelt and eternal gratitude to our medical professionals and health workers for the exemplary work that is the backbone of our continued success.
in limiting COVID-19 within our borders. I also at this time wish to recognize and thank Kenyans serving in critical and essential services for their excellent efforts, which have ensured the continuity of our supply chains and the provision of critical and essential services. So, fellow Kenyans, in order for us together to honor the hard work of these men and women and the sacrifice that they are making on our combined behalf, I believe it is incumbent on every Kenyan to support the efforts of our medical professionals, our health workers, our critical and essential service providers, and the government by a whole, by doing one simple step: reducing movement and congregation in large groups, as has been recommended by our Ministry of Health. But all the same, and to ensure that we continue to follow the procedures as laid out to all of us, the National Security Council of the Republic of Kenya has today sanctioned and caused the issuance of Public Order Number 1 on the coronavirus pandemic with the following key aspects. That effective Friday, 27th March 2020, there will be a daily curfew from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. And this shall be in effect in the territory of the Republic of Kenya, with all movement by persons not authorized to do so, or not being medical professionals, health workers, critical and essential service providers, being prohibited between these hours. The full list of critical and essential service providers shall be provided in more detail by the Ministry of Interior and National Coordination. Further, that with immediate effect, the management of the Kenya Ferry Service shall be vested in the National Police Service, the Coast Guard, and the National Government Administration Officers, NGAO, and all citizens shall be expected to obey and to follow the rules and procedures that shall be set out for crossing that ferry. Fellow Kenyans, social distancing, whether we like it or not, is now our new normal. It must be our new way of life until such time as we conquer this pandemic. I wish to once again reiterate that the most effective way to limit the spread of the virus is through basic changes in individual behavior and hygiene. I cannot but state with deep regret that we have recently experienced cases within our country where transmission was from our political and our religious leaders, who unfortunately failed to heed the guidance of the Ministry of Health on self-quarantine and social distancing. I therefore once more call on everyone to wash hands frequently, to use hand sanitizers and soap, water for at least 20 seconds, to cover our noses and mouth when coughing and sneezing with tissue or flexed elbow, to avoid close contact with anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms. These measures, fellow Kenyans, as simple as they may sound, will slow the spread and ease the effects of COVID-19 on our nation and allow our healthcare system and our first responders to most effectively deal with this pandemic. Fellow Kenyans, I want to reiterate that we have taken these basic measures to protect life, to protect the health of our citizens. If these measures are deemed to be inadequate, we shall, without hesitation, take even further and more drastic measures to ensure that the cardinal duty of the government and the state, which is the protection of life and property, is assured. So I make this appeal to you once again. Let us adhere to the rules and protocols that have been given to us by the relevant department, which in this case is the Ministry of Health. Let us work together to prevent the spread of this virus. Let us work together to protect life in Kenya. These additional measures have been taken as a clear result of Kenyans failing to heed to advice. Let us not find ourselves being forced to take even sterner action. My fellow Kenyans, our nation has always overcome and emerged from seemingly insurmountable challenges, and it has always come out stronger and better. And I believe in this case we shall do so again. Defeating this pandemic demands cooperation, collaboration, and common action. More than that, fellow Kenyans, it calls for our unity, our shared understanding, our strict adherence to the protocols issued by the Ministry of Health and all other relevant agencies, and the adoption by every person of measures that will help contain the spread of this virus. Every time, my brothers and sisters, that we have been faced with adversity as a people, we have always coalesced together. We have always pulled each other out of dire situations. I do believe that our nation shall prevail, and the aspirations of our destiny shall stand the test of time. Together, we shall be victorious. We can win this battle. We can and we shall defeat the coronavirus pandemic. That is the conclusion of my statement. We shall, as I have said from time to time, continue giving updates on further actions that government intends to take. And of course, the Ministry of Health shall, on a daily basis, continue to give you up-to-date information of where we stand and actions that we need to take to protect the health and well-being of our nation. May God bless each and every one of you. May God bless the Republic of Kenya. I thank you all for your attention. Asanteni sana. Asante.